Hello everyone. Today we're going to make this mug. I thought it'd be cute to make something for St. Patrick's Day. So here's a cute little mug. Let's get to it. Okay, for this video you're going to need a cup or a mug. I got this at the dollar bill store for $1. Some kind of paint palette or paper plate. Rubbing alcohol to clean your mug, then a pencil eraser, any pencil eraser will do, toothpick, and then at least 2 Q-tips. Now one Q-tip you're going to pull all this cotton swab off the end, make sure that they're the cardboardy kind because they work the best, and then after you remove the cotton swab, just take a little bit of paint and swirl it with your fingers like this and let it dry so that none of those little hairs stick out on it and you just have a smooth tip. Then on another cotton swab, leave the cotton swab on there and do the same thing. Just dip it in your paint and swirl it between your fingers like that. And then I usually just press it on a flat table and then swirl it a few more times and let it dry. And we're going to use these for our dotting tools in this tutorial. Now I also have a small little cup of water. You can use anything you want, but I use that to dampen my paper towel and that to wipe my tools off, or if I make a mistake and I need to use a cotton swab to remove it, I can wet it in that water. So we're also going to be using enamel paints. I'm not sure on the colors yet, but we'll specify them as we go. And I'm using the DecoArt brand gloss enamels. Now these bake in the oven and they adhere to the coffee mugs so that the paint won't wash off when you go to wash your mug. So we're just going to use regular old paper towel and some rubbing alcohol and get it wet and clean your mug. I've already done this, so I'm not going to be super thorough, but make sure you get all of it because you want the paint to adhere to the mug, and if it's not clean, it won't. So clean it really well and then make sure that it's dried off. Now we're going to start with white, and I'm just going to put a little bit in my paint palette. Okay, we're going to start with the biggest dotting tool we have, which is the eraser, and I'm just going to eyeball the middle of the mug, and I'm going to do it on both sides. So I hold the handle like this and I just look and I get as close to the center as I can and put a dot right there. Now I'm also going to do the other side because I like it to be double-sided, so no matter if a left-handed or right-handed person has it, it doesn't matter. And do the same on this side. And then I just use a paper towel to wipe the tip off. You can wet it if you want to get it cleaner, but it works just as good this way. So now you have one there and one on this side. Now I'm going to use the toothpick. And I think I'm going to go with this green color, which is Festive Green. And we're going to do some dots around here. I always like to do, zoom in, top and bottom. And then each side. Then split the difference. Oh, let's put 2 dots in there. So just estimate it out. And put 2 dots in between each. Try and get them as close to that center dot as you can without touching it. If you touch it, the paint will bleed into each other a little bit, which is okay. And then we're going to do the same to the other side. Now I just wipe it off with the paper towel because it has a tendency to build up paint on your tool, so you want to wipe them occasionally, even if you're going to use the same color. So now I'm going to use the same color again, the green, and I'm going to go a dot right in between the previous, all the way around, so it's offset. And that one dot looks a little small, so I'm going to dot on it again. Make it a little bit bigger. Just remember this is for fun, so don't stress. Just take your time. And then do the other side. And then wipe your tool off again. Now I'm going to do the next row using the toothpick that, or the toothpick, the Q-tip that doesn't have a cotton swab on it. And I'm going to use the white. And I'm going to go every other dot in the offset area. So you would skip one as you go around. And then the other side. Now I'm actually going to mix this green and white together to get a lighter shade of green. And I just used a toothpick to do that. These are both the same multi-surface, or not multi-surface, enamel paint in the same brand, so it's not going to harm anything mixing them together. It'll still bake just the same. So now I got a lighter color green. And I'm going to use the cotton swab that doesn't have the end again. And I'm going to put a dot in between each of the white dots we just did with the lighter green color. And then the same to the other side. Now, very rarely do I try and draw any kind of guidelines on these. I'll use masking tape and put it around the cup if I want to have a guide for going around the edge and keeping it straight. I try and freehand everything because you really can't mark on these very easily. Some people use a chalk marker. I haven't tried it though. So now we're going to use the biggest size, the eraser thing again. And I'm going to go out from these green ones that we just did with the same color and put a big dot above them, like that. Okay, and then we do the other side. We got that green on there. And I just broke my pencil. Look at that. I have another one. I was just pulling on it too tight and I've used that I don't know how many times. It's another pencil eraser. Alright, so now we're going to use the toothpick and the white paint and we're going to do what they call walking the dots. So I like to do a top dot first. So you put one out, you think about coming out from the center and put it on there on each one. So come out from the center and put it right on the top. Out from the center, right on the top. And then we're going to dip once and walk our dots down. Okay, now we're going to do the same to the other side. Okay, now we have that on both sides. Okay, now I'm going to come in with that dark green color again. And what I'm going to do is make what they call a swoop. So we're going to use the pencil eraser and make a dot out that direction. We're going to go in between each one, and then if you dip your toothpick, you can drag the paint in. And this isn't the best tool for doing this by any means, and it takes practice. Okay, now we're going to do the other side the exact same way. Okay, now we got both sides done. I'm wiping off my eraser and my toothpick so we can reuse them. Okay. Now I don't like to get too close to the lip because people are going to be drinking out of it. So let's go and use the cotton swab without the cotton swab and the white, and we're going to make a dot right in the middle of each one of these. And around. And do that on the other side. Okay. Now with my toothpick, I'm going to go in with white again, and I'm just going to make 5 sprays coming out. Just to fill up the mug a little bit more with pattern. We got that going. I'm going to do the other side. Just the same way. Now, I like to have the whole thing kind of have pattern on it. So we've got this on this side and this on this side and nothing down here. So using white, and the pencil eraser, I'm going to make a dot right in the center, in between these, and like in between from top to bottom, like so. And then I'm just going to make another one a little bit down, both directions. And then one more. It's a little off, but not so much that I'm going to take it off of there. If you're really meticulous and you want it absolutely perfect, you could take a wet cotton swab and just wipe those away. So now I'm going to use the cotton swab without the cotton swab, and I'm going to use that lighter color green that we made, and I'm going to put a dot on each side of these, like so. And now with the dark green, I'm going to use the cotton swab that has the cotton swab. And I'm going to put a dot out to each of these, like so. And then one in this color on the bottom, and one on the top. to give it a little bit of a design down the side. And then I just wipe that cotton swab off. And it'll still be colored like this, but you can still use it. Okay, and then I think I'm going to come in with my toothpick and the white. And I'm going to put a dot in between each one of these. Just in the one for the big dot out on the side there. Just to make it kind of a lacy pattern. And then one on each side of the ends. There and here. Like that. Now I'm going to take a break for a while and let this all dry. And come back and do some top dots. Okay, so these should be pretty well dry. I made a lighter color green. I added more white to the light green to lighten it up even more. And I'm going to use the Q-tip with the small end. And I'm going to top dot on these big circles right here. And they're almost a white color. They just have a little tint of green to them. Gonna do the same thing on this side. And now to add a little bit of more contrast to this, I'm going to use this black. It's an enamel too. And I'm going to use a toothpick and I'm going to dot on those little white ones. Okay, and then using the Q-tip with a small end, I'm going to dot black on that center. Okay, using the Q-tip without the cotton swab, we're going to dot on these white dots on the side. And I think I'm going to call it at that. Okay, the only thing we have left to do is to bake it. So my instructions on the back of the bottle says to let it cure for 4 days, then put it in a cool oven at 325 and bake it for 30 minutes. But if you use a different brand paint, make sure you read the label. And that's it. And here it is done. I hope you guys like it. Talk to you later.